what I'm going to do is take this number 6 brush here, and I'm going to start to work into his mustache. And from these photographs that I have, Teddy Roosevelt's mustache was kind of a sandy blonde, sort of an ochre color thing. And I imagine from being out in the prairie and riding in the Wild West, probably got bleached a little by the sun, but in this photograph, it's pretty light. So basically I'm mixing some yellows and ochres just to get this color of his mustache, a touch of burnt sienna in here so that I can get the tan quality of this. And I'm just going to come in here and catch some of the underside and some of the fibers in the mustache. Notice that there's a lot of light hitting here, so the light's going to make it appear almost white in places. But in the meantime, I'm just going to get in a little bit of this color that would be what I call the local color of his mustache. And I'm going to say that's sort of a yellow ochre burnt sienna mix. Now notice as the lighting is hitting his face, there's a shadow that is cast underneath the nose and down the side of the mustache here. So lighting is affecting that too. So I want to get in some of this local color, and then up in here it's going to go darker. So I'm going to mix up some darker browns, maybe a little touch of alizarin in it, so that up under here his mustache gets pretty dark. A few little places where the light is hitting, but fundamentally the hairs on his mustache start to get darker in here. So I want these to show up accordingly. And with that, I'm going to even pick up a little more sort of this purpley tone. And while I'm up there, I have to get in here and get the same. There's a dark shadow, or there's his nostril is showing up right in here, so I got to get that dark little wedge in there so that his nose has the requisite structure. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of a warmer red tone in here just to get this little indentation behind his nose here. This is what makes it show up, and I'll soften that edge a little bit so you can see this is how the structure of the nose comes together. Using water at the tip of my brush just to soften so that the edge of the nose isn't too defined. Again, on a face, objects are, shadows rather, are rarely a sharp edge. You'll see that they have a rounded form because most of the features on the human face are slightly rounded, so light affects them accordingly. I want to get a little bit of this underplane of the nose illustrated a little better, so catching some shadow tones there. Softening again. Okay, that's sort of where I want that. That looks pretty good. Get a little bit more, just a few changes in the mustache over here. There's a couple little dark strands that just, again, give a little bit of structure to the mustache. And that's about all I need in here. A little bit darker at the base, sort of conforms to his, where his upper lip meets his lower lip. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is come in here and get his hair in. And if you look closely at the photograph, you can see that his hair is typical military style. It's pretty closely cropped. Nice crisp sideburn. In fact, no sideburn, cut right here at the ear. And then it's closely cropped down here. So what I'm going to do is mix up, this sort of a burnt sienna dark, like this. And it's just sort of a brown that's in there. And what I'm going to do is gently sort of scumble it in. And how I mean by scumble, what I do is I'm going to take some of the paint out of the brush, or the liquid, so that when I put this in, I'm getting kind of a, as you can see, I'm getting a little bit of texture showing up. And this just suggests the texture of his hair that's closely cropped here. Don't want to do too much, but it just gives me that feeling of, man, he just had a shave and a haircut 2 bits, you know. It's very close cropped hair, and it gives me that little bit of texture right in here as it comes in behind his ear. And then as I bring this down, then it gets darker here in the background. And I don't have to be so attentive to the scumbling. Let's give that a little bit of a we don't want to make him look too moth-eaten, so, but just the back of his neck starts to go a darker tone, and it's going to have kind of this brownish cast to it. A few little flicks of light showing up, so you can kind of see that he does have a little bit of hair back here as it hits his collar. And that's pretty much all I need over here.